I guarantee it. Audubon Gutters install leaf guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Not a politician or part of a political machine. Corey Johnson.
I propose that I use what's left of the town treasury to move to a more prosperous town and run for mayor.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Jerry Bologna is with us from JEDCO for a few more minutes. Jerry, going into that break, you were talking about kind of the dynamic of shopping malls all across the country, how they've either died, gone away, or they've had to reinvent themselves. The outlier might be Lakeside. I mean, Lakeside per square foot, sometimes it's like the leading mall in the South as far as profits. The File Group, those folks out of New York, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the File Group, and you're right. They are the outlier. They're probably now the largest mall between Houston and Atlanta. And you're seeing it reflected in some of the brands they're starting to attract to the mall, higher end stores, and I think they're even more higher end way that they're getting ready to announce.
Oh, there's more coming to Lakeside?
Yep.
Wow, it's like it never ends. I mean, I think they just announced Aloe Yoga, which is a really new brand coming to our market. But I think people are going to be surprised with some of the names that they bring to the mall in the next couple of months. What do you think it is that keeps Lakeside so vibrant? And I think it's beyond location. I mean, I think the location is prime, obviously. But I think it's something else. I don't know if we still like reading the physical newspaper or still listen to AM and FM radio a lot. I mean, I don't know what it is about New Orleans, but that Lakeside Shopping Center continues to have explosive growth. All they do is, they tear down a Red Lobster and they build, a multi-million-dollar jewelry store. It's just endless.
It certainly starts with the location, but there's a lot that goes into that. First of all, the File Group has always maintained that property. They've shuffled around tenants to make sure that every arm of that mall stays vibrant and well trafficked. But in addition to that, they go after the brands and make sure that the brands that the area demands come to market. And they invest in the mall. And I think part of it is that every major retailer that comes to this area, to Louisiana, they automatically peg Lakeside as the location that they're going to enter this market. It's the place to be, and that's just helped them thrive.
The File Group out of New York, they're bullish on Jefferson. What? They got the Galleria, Lakeway 1, 2, 3.
The Lakeway building.
Gatehouse. Elmwood warehouses, or all that, right?
Good bit of property in Fat City too, as well. Now, all along Severn.
Amazing. What's the future of Fat City? Speaking of Fat City, Jerry, just can't seem to get that thing going at full steam. Major improvements the last decade, but still not maybe that inertia or momentum to really have it take off.
Major improvements over incremental improvements over the years, but right before I made this call, I actually just left Fat City where we were celebrating a groundbreaking on a new 15,000 square foot facility that's going to be constructed there, and that's a company, Oracle Lighting Solutions. They manufacture automotive lighting sent all over the world right there in Fat City. And
wow.
They have multiple locations in Fat City, but this is going to be their new 15,000 square foot manufacturing facility. And, a couple of $1 million invested. They took down an old dilapidated apartment complex, and it's now going to be a great new commercial facility. And we need more like that.
No doubt.
More like that in Fat City.
Did they consolidate all their stuff into that one building, or they're still in other spots too?
No, this is just increasing their footprint.
Yeah.
They have a tremendous operation. They have multiple buildings throughout Fat City, but they wanted to remain true and stay in Fat City. And they were unable to get a property large enough to consolidate everything, but they are building a new 15,000 square foot building.
How many employees total?
They have 30 on site or currently employed in Fat City. This new facility is going to hire another 13. So they're blowing and going there in Fat City.
Is that what you want there? Kind of like light manufacturing? What do you, or a little bit of everything? What do you want in Fat City?
I think, and I have remained bullish on this. I think Fat City is ideal for office, retail, all sorts of commercial. It's very walkable. It's sort of got a cool factor. I think a walkable hub, and it's centrally located to the entire metro area. So I think we have a lot of ability to attract businesses there. But we just have some hurdles in that area. There's some infrastructure hurdles over the years with drainage that the parish has tackled and sidewalks that the parish has tackled. It's just been incremental improvements. But the Metairie Business Development District is doing a lot of work in that area. They've taken down some buildings. They're making some green space and park space. They're looking at redevelopment of certain properties, and so I think we're finally hitting a point where you're going to start seeing more and more activity in Fat City.
Industrial canals, now the industrial waterway, airline highways, airline drive, Bridge City, Fairfield. We'll talk about that in a second. Does Fat City need to be renamed or no?
I'm sure there are some April Fool's jokes out there that could come up with some clever names.
Jerry Bologna is with us from JEDCO. What about Fairfield? Well, one thing, Jerry, I'll say, and you can, say if there's any validity to this or not. We build a $1 billion plus expansion of the Huey Long. We rename Bridge City Fairfield. It's supposed to be, a little bit of everything, the last frontier. And I think with a lack of leadership, maybe like John O'Leary or somebody on the West Bank allowing Schwest to build that track right there. I think the track should have been built about 15 minutes down the road by the two dumps, the Jefferson Parish dump and Hebe's dump down there, a natural buffer for a car racetrack. And I go play the TPC. I hear the race cars. I don't know why someone would want to have a business or a neighborhood next to the noisy racetrack. So I think that was a mistake. But with all that said, any validity to what I'm saying? Corey, you're right. We're trying to overcome that, or not at all. Corey, you have it dead wrong. It's thriving, and we're not worried about the track at all. It helps lure folks to that area.
Well, I think people don't believe me when I say this because our office is right there, almost next to the track. In our direction, we never hear the racetrack. And when I go to the TPC, it sounds like the cars are running through the middle of the golf course. And I don't know if that's to do with wind direction or lack of tree buffer or what, but it's not a hindrance for us to bring business to the area. They actually are attracted to it, and the track itself brings a lot of commerce to the area, with companies coming through doing testing and vehicle road testing and tire testing, things like that. But you mentioned the Huey P. Long Bridge. The unfortunate part was the expansion of that bridge coincided with the closure of the Avondale shipyard.
Yeah.
And so that just put us back behind the 8 ball. But what we're seeing is through the organic growth of Elmwood and Elmwood's continued conversion to more retail commercial, we're starting to generate a lot of interest from the industrial companies in Elmwood now interested in jumping across that bridge to where the land is cheaper. They can monetize their investment in Elmwood, sell their building there, build a brand new facility much cheaper, operate cheaper on the West Bank. So there is a shift. There is a shift coming, and I think the growth of the Avondale Global Gateway certainly lends itself to that as well.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. But hey, Churchill Park, what you got this sort of a food and beverage incubator idea going, right?
We just announced that we're entering into the design phase now, and we're going to build that. But we've acquired $4.5 million to build Greater New Orleans Regional Food and Beverage Incubator for all of the food culture we have down here in this area, and for everyone that wants to export that all over the world. We don't have a true incubator that's fostering entrepreneurship among our food and beverage cluster. So we're going to open that incubator in Churchill Park, and we're going to have great support from the restaurant industry and all of our resource partners around the area. The LSU has the only other food incubator in South Louisiana, and we know that there are a number of New Orleans area companies that are actually going to Baton Rouge on a daily or weekly basis to utilize their incubator. So we're excited to get that online as soon as we can to support our culinary entrepreneurs.
Hey, Jerry, we got about 30 seconds or so. What's up with Avondale? Is anything going on out there?
Yeah, I mean, if you go by the facility, it's full of steel and all sorts of commodities. But we work on an almost daily basis in communication with Avondale. They are always bringing prospects through, whether it's in the steel industry, related to wind power, lots of wind manufacturing taking place out there now. Vegetable oil refining. There's a lot of activity, but we're still trying to get it up to where the employment would be, something comparable to what we have with Avondale.
Hey, Jerry, let's do this more often. I'd like to get you on like maybe every few months.
I'm happy to do so. Let me know.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
You too. That's Jerry Bologna joining us. He runs JEDCO. Talking about all kind of stuff, maybe even like IKEA coming to the Esplanade or somewhere on Vets. Who knows? Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Don't go anywhere. A lot more coming.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint. Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The true voice of New Orleans, telling it like it is.
I'm very important.
Here's the mouth of the South, Corey Johnson.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, you right. Thanks for joining us. If you missed the last 20, 30 minutes, you missed Jerry Bologna from JEDCO, a IKEA coming to the Esplanade Mall. Keep your fingers crossed. That would be huge. But I think from what I know, what Jerry just said, the IKEA is looking at other locations in Metairie as well. They build the mega store, but then they build like a smaller store now. And look, we would take any IKEA, but a big monster store at the Esplanade Mall site is much better than a smaller store on Vets. Vets is already doing fine. There'll be other businesses coming to Vets. It's vibrant. The Esplanade Mall needs a leg up, a hand up, needs help, needs some support. It ain't even on life support. It's like dead. IKEA would be tremendous. That would be perfect. A regional get. Folks coming from all over, Houma, Thibodeau, Baton Rouge, maybe as far as Lafayette, Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama. It'd be the closest IKEA to any of those places, Mobile, Lafayette, Jackson. It's a couple of hours. But their main audience, from what I understand, is within 60 miles. They want at least 2 million people. They get that at the Esplanade Mall, bringing Baton Rouge into the equation. So hopefully it's that. But no, you're competing against other spots in Jefferson in a smaller IKEA. And then from what I understand, IKEA was looking somewhere in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge on the I-10 corridor, like putting an IKEA maybe like in Gramercy or Gonzales, something like that. You have that exit 177 Gonzales. That's probably about, 40 miles from Kenner, 50, 60 miles from the French Quarter. It falls within the 60-mile, 2 million people thing. They get Baton Rouge, they get New Orleans, they get Houma Thibodeau. They basically get the North Shore too. But maybe they're like, we don't need to be in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. We need to be closer to New Orleans because then maybe we get Gulfport, Biloxi. I don't know how they think about all this. The major market, the secondary, the third market. But I mentioned IKEA at the Plaza site. And then as I did a little research, that's where that 2 million people within 60 miles thing came in. And being on the east side of New Orleans, Gulfport, Biloxi, probably half the population of Baton Rouge, of Metro Baton Rouge. And that puts it under 2 million within 60 miles. Sort of takes Baton Rouge maybe out of the equation a little bit. Being on the western side of New Orleans by Kenner, it brings Baton Rouge into the equation more, and maybe you lose a little Gulfport, Biloxi. So it's a balance thing. But no, the Plaza, the IKEA at the Plaza site, just like, I mentioned an IKEA at the Plaza and a Bass Pro Shop Cabela's at the Six Flags site, transformative for New Orleans East, like changes the whole game because it's not just New Orleans East, it's folks from the entire region going to those two things, an IKEA or a Bass Pro Shops Cabela's. Speaking of, Jerry Bologna said they've constantly been in discussions with Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's. But that even mentioned, maybe they've mentioned it to him, kind of cannibalization, like folks can go to, ironically, what I just mentioned, exit 177, Gonzales. There's a Cabela's right there. Up I-12, there's a Bass Pro Shop. Metro Baton Rouge has both on opposite sides of the city, one up I-12 towards Hammond and one towards New Orleans on I-10. But they've got both. They've got a Cabela's and a Bass Pro Shop. They're both owned by the same entity now, but at the time they weren't, when the two separate ones were built. They probably wouldn't have built two in Metro Baton Rouge. But because they have two in Metro Baton Rouge and the Gonzales one, probably, they know the numbers. They see the credit card receipts. They know where the bills are going. They know exactly the percentage of Metro New Orleans folks that go to that Cabela's in Gonzales. Exit 177. So they're probably, like Bologna was saying, they don't want to cannibalize things. They don't want to lose that percentage of Metro New Orleans folks that go to that Gonzales location. Build one in Kenner or build one in New Orleans East, and maybe you lose a percentage of those New Orleans folks. You would go into Gonzales. Then it shrinks the store. How do they increase back to where they were without New Orleans? They can't. Does the New Orleans store bring in folks from places that the Gonzales store doesn't? Probably so. Gulfport, Biloxi, you can go to Mobile, Alabama for Bass Pro Shop, but that's sort of a small one. If you had some monster in New Orleans East, I think those folks would head west on I-10 and not east towards Mobile. Anyway, Jerry Bologna talking about all kind of stuff. Fat City, Avondale, Lakeside Shopping Center, just an outlier of malls. Just continues to have explosive growth. He said more announcements coming at Lakeside. They just do not stop. Speaking of not stopping, speaking of Jefferson Parish, the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra, the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10, right on the corner, right on the price. Home of the big store, Lamarck Ford, for over 45 years. Why would you go anywhere else for like an F-150 and Explorer but the Lamarck Automotive Complex? And those black label Lincoln SUVs, my God. So luxurious, so plush, first class. You need a commercial truck, van, or SUV? Lamar Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Every day, the program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamar Crescent City Ford. Tuesday afternoon edition of the program, 5 o'clock powwow coming your way. Got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. What's that, Blue Boy? You're a basset hound. You have a long back. You could use a little deep tissue back massage from the Woodhouse, huh, buddy? All right, we'll work on that. Yeah, I've got some Woodhouse trivia questions coming your way in the 5 o'clock powwow. And a bunch of topics we haven't even touched on yet. Corey Johnson with you. Neutral Ground. Stick around.
On the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Already the 5 o'clock powwow, already Tuesday. Time flying by each and every day. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right, Crescent City, let's do it. You'll need this phone number, 766-9480. 766-9480. It is New Orleans. It is the neutral ground. Miss Peaches at the controls. I've got some trivia questions. Miss Peaches threw a few out there. No, she wanted the body of water, the river that flows by the city. That was one of her questions. I was like, "You're talking about the Mississippi River, Miss Peaches?" She's like, "Yep." I'm like, "That's not going to work." What did the president change the name to the big body of water south of us? I'm like, we're not doing Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, but almost just as easy. This is a Miss Peaches special right here. But the answer may surprise you. It might shock you. Or maybe it's not shocking at all, and I'm just saying that to throw you off. Or maybe it's shocking. Legitimately. Inquiring minds would like to know. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? Who is Jefferson Parish named after? That's a Miss Peaches special. This is a Corey special. Who is Kennebra named after? Miss Peaches, I don't know if you knew this or not. Kenner is short. It's a German name like Hofbrau. It's Kennebra. Kennebra. Well, yes, Kennebra. And we shorten it into Kennebra. Yes, that's legitimate. That's real. I'm not making that up. There's April Fool's joke for you. Wow, I got one in.
Good.
That's better than my French Quarter's getting its name changed to the American Quarter. Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? 766-9480. Who is Kenner named after? 766-9480. I do love that picture, the 2 columns with the, welcome to Kenner sign, and then there's a brassiere strap hanging on the right column. I mean, you can't help but look at that photo, and in your brain, you're like reading it, welcome to Kenner, and then your brain says bra. You see the bra, and you registers bra. Welcome to Kenner, bra. That's a great sign. I think they should make it permanent. Put Blaine Kern make some bra that's like plastic Mardi Gras, 5 feet, and mount it to that column. Welcome to Kenner, bra. Oh, anyway, 766-9480. Bruh. Hey, how far
into New Orleans did Jefferson Parish go? I didn't realize it went this far. I knew about like the city of Carrollton, and I knew about the city of Jefferson. How far into New Orleans did Jefferson Parish go? Jefferson Parish took up some of New Orleans, and New Orleans has annex authority where they annex the city of Jefferson. Then they annex the city of Carrollton. I mean, right now we could annex Canterbury or Gretna legally. How do you Jefferson Parish folks like that? Don't worry about it. Even though regionalization, New Orleans and Jefferson Parish actually working as one would benefit both parishes. New Orleans wants to have nothing to do with working with Jefferson Parish, and Jefferson Parish wants to have nothing to do with working with New Orleans. So you folks in each parish, you don't have to worry about cooperation. It's not going to happen. Thank you and have a great afternoon, everyone.
I have a question.
Yes.
When will they make Metairie a city?
I forgot why they don't want to incorporate Metairie into making it a city. I forgot why. Because it'd be like a large city in Louisiana. Yes. It's a few 100,000 people.
Very much.
But I forget why they didn't want to incorporate Metairie. It's the largest, population area.
Kenner gets to be a city.
Kenner's a city. Gretna's a city. Yep. I think West Wego's a city.
I
think West Wego's a city.
It's a whole okay.
Yes. Avondale's not a city, but I think West Wego is a city.
Avondale's not. Okay.
West Wego's incorporated. Gretna's incorporated in Kenner. I think West Wego is incorporated, Ms. Peaches.
That's incredible.
We're going to Google that one. I think it is. I mean, West Wego's got their own police department and fire and all that.
Do other states do incorporated areas?
But yeah. But like Louisville took 10 counties and made them one. So they got rid of the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department. It's just NOPD everywhere. They got rid of the, New Orleans Fire Department. It's Jefferson Parish Fire Department everywhere. Whatever entities were best, and they just converted the other ones over, whatever.
It's unusual.
And that way Louisville works as one. They don't compete against each other. Yeah, it's a better gimmick. Anyway, 766-9480. 766-9480. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? Might surprise you. May not be a person. Who is Kenner named after? And how far into New Orleans did Jefferson Parish once go? Shocked how far into Orleans Parish Jefferson Parish once went. 766-9480. Lebanon's Cafe's open till 9:30 tonight. They're open every night till 9:30. I was there Sunday with my brother and my mommy. My brother got lamb chops. My mom got chicken shish kebab. I got chicken shawarma, fried football kibbe, hummus, baba ganoush, tabbouleh. We all had all kind of great sides. Lebanon's Cafe, some of the finest Middle Eastern food in Metro New Orleans. 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9:30 straight through. You could go right now. And when the weather's like this, outdoor dining, under the green awning, under the oak trees, on the streetcar line. Tonight for dinner, Lebanon's Cafe. Yummy. I like shish kebab. I like lamb chops. I like shish kebab. I like lamb chops. I was cheering that cheer at the Saints game, Miss Peaches, and people were looking at me thinking I was weird, strange. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Tomorrow through Saturday, it's like 75 to 85. We might approach 90 over the next few days. Isn't that terrible? Isn't that yucky? Early April. That goes in the El Sucky category. As the little kids say, that's sucky. Anyway, good news, sorta. Next week, Monday through Wednesday, it's 50s and 60s. We might even have high 40s. Definitely on the North Shore next week, expect high 40s. We need a little more mosquito-killing weather because the inevitable's coming. Now, right now, I mean, we're getting like that 9-10 day out forecast. a week from this Thursday, which happens to be first day of French Quarter Fest, a week from this Thursday. 53 to start the day, 72 is the high. So, Miss Peaches, it's creeping up a little. The Monday through Wednesday of next week, it's 60s, the high. All of a sudden, Thursday, that first day of French Quarter Fest, it's 72. I'm assuming tomorrow when we get Friday, it'll be like 75, and Saturday will be 80. You know, I mean, I'm assuming. Hopefully, it's 53 to 72 every day. French Quarter Fest will be the biggest in its history if it's 53 to 72 every day. Keeping the old fingers crossed. Yeah, we want a great weather, you know, cool, comfortable for French Quarter Fest. We want it to be great. Plus, what I said a second ago, summer's coming. Heat and humidity's coming. So the longer we can stretch out this non-summer season, spring, whatever the hell you want to call it, the better. IKEA at the Esplanade Mall. Jerry Bologna joined us last hour from JEDCO. Maybe. He's smart. Maybe they're working on it at other Jefferson locations. In pulling a LaToya Cantrell. Hey, y'all, we got that Target coming to the east at the Lowe's. And then Target's like, what? What is she talking about? We hadn't finalized anything. This was a question mark to begin with. That makes it easy. Let's pull out. We're not going to New Orleans. So the mayor's spouting off, even said it. I shouldn't be saying this like a child, but I'm gonna. Target's coming to the Lowe's in the East. Target pulled the plug. Jerry Bologna's smart. He's not saying IKEA's coming to the Esplanade. Could you imagine that if he did? IKEA hears that and they're like, we haven't decided anything yet. These people are crazy. We're not going to Kenner in the Esplanade now. That's literally what the mayor did. Target's coming, y'all. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm gonna. God, no, keep it to yourself. Jeez, wreck that deal. Tens of millions in sales with the Target in the East. Instead, it's a few $1,000,000 in annual sales with the Goodwill store. I'm not against Goodwill at all. I'm pro Goodwill, just not in that location. Anyway, no, mayor's spouting off. Jerry Bologna's smarter. He's not saying we're getting an IKEA in Metairie or the Esplanade Mall. He's just saying they're looking at it. They're looking at it, and that's a blessing. Thank goodness. YoungsDryCleaning.com. They got walk-up locations, old school. They got free pickup and delivery, home or office, East Bank or West Bank. They have manless locker locations all over the metro, right under your nose. Like maybe where you work or live and you didn't even know it. YoungsDryCleaning.com. Experience the best. YoungsDryCleaning.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Hey, Marigny, Bywater, Treme, French Quarter, CBD, Warehouse District, Garden District, Irish Channel. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Hey, throw me something, mister. Hey, I'm fighting for these plastic beads. Now I have to find a garbage can to throw them away. No more plastic throws for Mardi Gras. No more imports from China. Let's make it green, you guys. By golly. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? The answer might surprise you. Who is Kenner named after? Kenner. Who is Kenner named after? How far into New Orleans did Jefferson Parish once go? It was pretty deep into the Orleans Parish. I didn't realize it. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. You got the answer to any of these questions? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 50 bucks. Woodhouse on Canal Street in Mid-City. Woodhouse on Esplanade and Transcontinental. Metairie near North Kenner. In Mandeville. In Slidell. In Baton Rouge. WoodhouseSpas.com. 766-9480. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? Who is Kenner named after? How far into New Orleans did Jefferson Parish once go? 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Thin skin Louisiana peeps. Governor Jeff Landry doesn't need to give anyone an apology for the condition for failure comment. He was right on the money. I don't get this. I mean, you have like talk show host type folks, editorial type folks, political pundits, folks that give opinions, op-ed type folks. The governor needs to apologize to the citizens of New Orleans. Is that like to keep the audience, to not alienate folks? I mean, I don't have that luxury. I've got to be consistent. And I've consistently said, we're failing in Louisiana. New Orleans is failing as a city. New Orleans versus other cities, Louisiana versus other states, we're failing. That's obvious. It's been going on for like 40 years. The competition's kicking our ass. It's not even close. So, yeah, we've got a lot of second-rate folks that do settle that, when the governor says, we realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that's conditioned for failure, that's conditioned to vote for Edwin Edwards, that's conditioned to vote for Mark Morial, Bill Jefferson, John Alario. Conditioned for that. There are folks right now in Louisiana, hundreds of thousands, that would say, man, if Edwin Edwards was around, things would be good if he was governor today. Boy, if Mark Morial was running New Orleans, things would be good. People are delusional. Seriously, broken, second-rate peeps that are broken. So no, I'm in full agreement with the governor. If you take offense to that, maybe it's not you. It ain't me. Probably not you. We work hard, paycheck to paycheck. We earn our money. Nothing's given to us. We don't have any free deal. We're not some lame politician, the ones I just mentioned. So no, we realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that's conditioned for failure. Now, I'm not saying Jeff Landry is or isn't the positive change, but the statement is valid. It comes after all 4 amendments failed over the weekend. I'm not saying they should have failed or they should have passed. All of that is irrelevant. Jeff Landry, his ideology, the amendments are irrelevant. The statement is valid. We realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that's conditioned for failure. That is so accurate. I think that's a bold statement. I would be very disappointed if Jeff Landry publicly apologizes to the citizens of New Orleans and Louisiana for that comment, because that comment's right on the money. That comment is right on the money. Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, I love it as much as anybody, but that's not the priority. That's the gravy. That's the lagniappe. That's the extra. The priorities Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, educating our kids, economic opportunity, infrastructure, crime, control, all those kind of things. It's pretty simple. No, we suck at that stuff. The party, the festival, we're great at that. So no, the governor, thin-skinned Louisiana folks, and shame on the media types, the folks that have a microphone, a pen, a camera, whatever, influence on social media. The governor owes the citizens an apology. That's just so lame. That's the easy way. That's the simple way. That's the cowardly way, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm brave or courageous saying what Jeff Landry's saying. I'm saying it's normal what I'm saying, what Jeff Landry said, because it's painfully accurate and true. We realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that's conditioned for failure. Conditioned for failure. How do you argue with that? Education, crime, infrastructure, economic opportunity. Conditioned for failure. Festivals, parties, Saturday night at Tiger Stadium, packing the dome for Saints, all of that. 3 for 1 at the bar, hunting and fishing season, golf, whatever. We're great at all that. Well, we're actually golf deficient. We could use better golf courses. Shouldn't have mentioned golf. Wrong about that. We're failing at that. Forbes put out their billionaires list. There's a key person missing on it. I think this guy's he's kind of humble. He's kind of private. I think he was on Forbes' list like maybe a decade or longer ago. And I think just literally had the power and stroke, knew somebody at Forbes and was like, I don't want to be on that list. Don't put me on that list. I'll tell you about this New Orleanian in a second, but Todd Graves is, according to Forbes, the richest person in the state. $9.5 billion. $9.5 billion with a B. $1 billion is 1,000 million. Miss Peaches, you know that million you have stuffed in your mattress, the $1 million that you saved up? It's 1,000 to make $1 billion. 1 billion is 1,000 million. So Todd Graves has $9.5 billion. That's what he's worth. 293rd richest person in the world, according to Forbes. Now, there's, I guarantee, a few hundred. If Todd Graves is 293, you could bump him like 493, 593. There's a few hundred folks. I'm about to mention one who's from New Orleans that don't want to be on this list, that they stay off the list. Sheiks and all kind of don't want to be on the list. Here, Forbes, here's some money. Keep me off the list. Todd Graves, $9.5 billion. Now, here's the interesting part. Raising Cane's is worth $3.7 billion. Raising Cane's is worth $3.7 billion. That's like 90+% of what Todd Graves is all about. I don't know what other investments he has and things like that. Maybe he invested in some beverage drink that they sold for billions and he got some money from that. I don't think that's it. I think he's like 90+% Cane's, like all in on Cane's. So if the Raising Cane's, like he wants to sell Cane's, he gets $3.7 billion for that. He owns all the locations and the land, so they're going to pay him a monthly lease. He's a real estate guy. Todd Graves is a real estate developer. Cane's is the incidental. Cane's is worth $3.7 billion. He's worth $9.5 billion. So there's another $6 billion, almost double Cane's that he's worth from owning all those locations, those 900 locations. He owns every building, every spot. It's absolutely crazy. Crazy. Now, he might have some land leases, but he owns the buildings and he has control of the leases. So that's where the money comes in. Gail Benson, or a lot of the money, not all of it. Cane's is worth $3.7 billion. Gail Benson's worth $7.1 billion, up a cool $1 billion from a year ago. Up a cool $1 billion. What's that, about 15%? That's pretty good income. I'll take 15% on my money. Oh, wait, that would be 15% of zero. $7.1 billion for Gail Benson. Owner, of course, of the NFL franchise in New Orleans, the NBA franchise in New Orleans, and other holdings. Now, the guy that might be worth more than Todd Graves and Gail Benson is Bill Goldring. Bill Goldring. I mean, you can Google Bill Goldring. There's a company called Sazerac. That's his company. I think he's got 10,000 plus employees. 10,000 plus. Owns distilleries and brands all around the world. This New Orleans guy. Now, I mean, if I had to guess, and I'm just guessing, and these are huge numbers, way above my pay grade, I think Bill Goldring's the richest person to say. I think Bill Goldring's worth north of $10 billion. I think he's worth more than Todd Graves and Gail Benson for sure. But that's just my guesstimation. Zion Williamson, out for the year. 7 games remaining. Pels aren't going anywhere. Maybe Zion Williams will. Hopefully some team, the Vikings call, the Cowboys, Herschel Walker trade. Mike Ditka, I'll give you the whole draft for, one player kind of thing. And obviously that won't work. The whole draft's 2 picks. Zion Williamson, 30 games this season. He was the number 1 pick in 2019. 2019. We're in 2025. He played, 43 games a couple of years ago? Crazy. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxford, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King. Hey, New Orleans, if you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Hey, Marigny, Bywater, Treme, French Quarter, CBD, Warehouse District, Garden District, Irish Channel. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, and where New Orleans is heard.
Yeah, you right. Giving a shout out to the hoods, plural. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Why? I shouldn't say why. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? Might surprise you the answer, or maybe not. Who is Kenner named after? How far into New Orleans did Jefferson Parish once go? Pretty deep into the city. I mean, I knew Carrollton neighborhood, my neighborhood, my area of town. I knew that was part of Jefferson Parish. I knew the city, Jefferson City, like where Jefferson Avenue is, and the Magazine, St. Charles, all that was part of Jefferson Parish. But it went farther into the city than that. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Hey, you either know the answer to these questions. Who is Jefferson Parish named after? Who is Kenner named after? How far into New Orleans or Orleans Parish did Jefferson Parish once go? You either know the answer or you don't. No intranet device, no search engines, no DuckDuckGo, Bing, Google, Yahoo. 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. Zion Williamson, like a back contusion. CJ McCollum, they're out for the rest of the season. 7 games left for the Pels. Let's see, 30 games this year for Zion Williamson. He played 30 games out of eventual 82. Last year, he played 70. The year before that, 29. So the last 3 years, he's played in 129 of 246 games. I mean, what Zion Williamson is probably worth right now, realistically for most teams, and then that dream trade I mentioned, like the Anthony Davis to the Lakers thing, if the Pelicans could get just somewhere in between, better than like what he's probably worth to most franchises. You don't trade him. 20 of the 30 NBA teams are going to give proper value for the guy, and that's like, hope he stays healthy, hope he can do something in a new environment. He's the best. He's great. He's one of the best players in the league when he's healthy. It's very, very rare when he's healthy, like half the time at best. Half the time at best. Selected number 1 in 2019, 6 years ago, for crying out loud. It's ridiculous. So no, if the Pels can get anything for Zion Williamson of value that's legit, you do it. And I think there's a team out there that feels, there's always some team, there's always a sucker, I'm not saying that. There's a team where they think a Zion Williamson is the perfect fit and will elevate us to an NBA championship. Like they've already got 2 stars on the roster. They want that third, and it's at a perfect position. Zion playing the 3 or 4, wherever they want to put him and how they want to utilize him. So hopefully there's a team out there that's willing to trade a starter or 2. Probably have to be like at least a starter that's, all-star type, and then maybe another secondary starter, and then some draft picks as well, or you don't do it. Or the Pels are just stuck with injury-prone Zion Williamson. No, it's a shame, man. Guy can't stay on the court. It's a nightmare. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Jerry Bologna from JEDCO joined us last hour, talking about the rumors swirling, local media about an IKEA potentially going to the Esplanade Mall. Bologna said they've been in discussions with IKEA. They've looked at that Esplanade Mall site. He also says IKEA now has different size stores, not just the big monster, that single type store. They have smaller IKEAs, and they're looking at other sites in Jefferson Parish, he said, including some on Veterans Boulevard. Now, don't get me wrong. Metro New Orleans getting an IKEA would be big, and it would be a regional draw. People would come from all over. The smaller store would just have less significance, less people coming from all over, all of that. And another retailer on vets is great. IKEA's coming to New Orleans. They're going on Veterans. That'd be great. But going to the Esplanade Mall is a major game changer. Veterans is vibrant. They're not worried about losing business or needing business. They've got a lot of business on vets. They always will. The Esplanade Mall is dead, basically, dormant. And it's in a great area. So an IKEA right there, and then maybe turn it into a lifestyle center where you have apartments and other things around it, would be tremendous. And it's a regional draw. People would come from all over. So a big mega store at the Esplanade Mall obviously is better than a smaller store on Vets for 2 reasons. The store on Vets would be smaller, and it's on Vets. Like that pump's already primed. Esplanade needs help. It'd be a game changer for Kenner and the Esplanade Mall and IKEA there. So keep your fingers crossed that gets green lighted and sooner than later. I mean, I've talked with Michael Hecht on Friday. We'll do it again this Friday from Greater New Orleans Inc. A few years ago about IKEA at the Plaza site, and they like 2 million people within 60 miles of the store, kind of on the wrong side of New Orleans, needs to be on the Kenner side where you bring Baton Rouge into the equation. But there was talk of maybe IKEA with a mega store going somewhere in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge on I-10, like the Gramercy exit or Gonzales exit 177, something like that, where it wouldn't be in New Orleans. It wouldn't be in the metro area of New Orleans. It would be outside of our metro, maybe 50 miles away, 40 miles away, somewhere in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. There's talk of that. So IKEA is scouring this area. If you think about like where they want to go, they need 2 million people within 60 miles. They can't put an IKEA in Mobile, Alabama. They can't put an IKEA in Gulfport, Biloxi. They could put an IKEA on the, like exit 177 Gonzales, what I was just mentioning, because that would bring New Orleans into it. But they're not going into Baton Rouge. It would be outside of Baton Rouge towards New Orleans. Lafayette, not enough population. I mean, you can go up and down, our area, our region, and there's not really a spot for IKEA when they want this 2 million folks within 60 miles gimmick. Then you throw in the new smaller stores and all that's thrown out the window. A smaller IKEA, they probably could put one in Baton Rouge. They could probably put one in New Orleans on Vets. They could probably put one in Mobile, Alabama, a smaller version. Who knows? Maybe that D'Iberville exit, right past Biloxi on I-10, that kind of lifestyle center, maybe there could be an IKEA there, the smaller version. I want the big boy. I want the monster store. I wanted it in Kenner at the Esplanade Mall. Jerry Bologna joined us. We discussed that. Other folks they've talked to, like Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, and he brought up an interesting point, like they don't want to cannibalize themselves. Bass Pro Shops has a location on I-12 outside of Baton Rouge going towards Hammond out by O'Neill Lane, a little north of there, actually, towards Walker, Livingston Parish. Then they've got a Cabela's at that exit 177 Gonzales exit. Those two groups, Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop, were competitors, separate entities. Then Bass Pro Shop bought Cabela's, or Cabela's bought Bass Pro Shop, or they merged, whatever. They're now one entity, Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's. I don't think if they were one entity, they would have built two of those. They would have built the one on exit 177, in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, so that would have been it. But since they were competitors, Bass Pro Shop said, man, we'll build up I-12 where the explosive growth heading towards Hammond. We'll tap into that. So Bologna's talked to Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, and they're like, maybe the thought is they don't want to cannibalize the store in Gonzales with a store in Kenner. He said there's some other regional retailers. Just keep your fingers crossed. IKEA would be the problem solver for the Esplanade Mall. Problem solved. Hey, dinner tonight? Problem solved? You bet. Katie's, as New Orleans as it gets. And with this weather, 70-something degrees, outdoor dining at Katie's. Start off with some nice cocktails, get into some appetizers, some entrees, which are so big, they're great for sharing big portions, and authentic New Orleans food. Katie's, Iberville, corner Tallahassee tonight, outdoor dining at Katie's in Mid-City. We have definitely improved since the coronavirus crisis. The outdoor dining opportunities in Metro New Orleans, there are dozens and dozens and dozens. It might be 100 places you can eat outside. Literally like 5 years ago, there were maybe 24, maybe 20 or 30. And I know you're going, come on, Corey. There weren't many. There weren't many at all. Now a lot of places have outdoor dining. So, silver lining from that. Thank goodness. I mean, I've mentioned this before. New York, outdoor dining all over Manhattan. It's like 45, 50 degrees. It's kind of misty and cloudy. They're outdoor dining. They're eating outside with the coats on. I mean, when it dips really cold and it's snowing, no, they're not. But they're taking advantage of that, and that's in New York. Now, maybe they're arguing, hey, we don't have enough space inside. Rent's so high, we've got to be able to serve food on the sidewalk. We have to have more tables. I hear you, but New Orleans is
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint. For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian. Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Women are often throwing clothing items at me, saying you're the possessor of the cool factor. I have to fight off the ladies.
90 minutes of fun every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
That should be saved for a Fantasy Friday edition of the program, Miss Peaches. What a bunch of nonsense that is. Jeez. Is that like projection? Like, throw that out there, and then I'm thinking I'll walk to my car and some car will pull up and a lady will jump out and throw clothes at me. Oh, I don't think that works in reality, Miss Peaches. Maybe in the cartoon world. Not in the real world. No, doesn't work. Not in Corey's world. Now, if Corey had, $7.1 billion like Gail Benson or $9.5 billion like Todd Graves, maybe it would happen. Men, women, human beings, we like money. No one's immune to that, especially in the United States. Very few people are immune to that. I mean, you gotta pay the rent, you gotta pay the electricity bill. It's a rat race out there. Apparently, Todd Graves is winning $9.5 billion. And of course, a billion is 1,000 million. According to Forbes, Todd Graves, the richest man in Louisiana, the 293rd richest in the world. Richest person in Louisiana. This is what blows me away. Forbes says Raising Cane's is worth $3.7 billion. Now, that doesn't blow me away on the surface. I'm like, I don't know those numbers well enough. I know it's like 900 locations. So $3.7 billion, for all that business, the concept, all of that seems like the number. Why would I question Forbes? The part that I find interesting is Todd Graves is worth $9.5 billion. Cane's is $3.7 billion. That leaves like $6 billion out there, and he doesn't own NFL or NBA teams. I may be wrong. Maybe Todd Graves' portfolio is, it's only like a third Cane's, and it's 2/3 of great investments he's made in the stock market and other investments that have worked out for him. I don't think that's the case. I think he's got stocks and investments, of course, but I think 90+% easy, 95% plus of Todd Graves' wealth is all Cane's related. So if the Raising Cane's are worth $3.7 billion and he's worth $9.5 billion, the 900 locations, that real estate, the physical buildings, which are all pretty new. I mean, the oldest Cane's location, the mothership on LSU's campus, is about 30 years old. It's about 30 years old. And the building itself is about 60 years old or 70 years old. It was old Mandy's Conoco station. A lot of the Raising Cane's, they have grown tremendously like the last decade, like quadrupled in size like the last 10 years. So most of their buildings are 10 years old or newer. And he owns a lot. He owns the buildings. He owns a lot of the land that the buildings sit on. And he has the lease to the land that he doesn't own. So that tells me the Cane's thing is secondary. Todd, it's like McDonald's. McDonald's, they're in the real estate business. Ray Kroc is in the real estate business. The hamburger thing is an incidental. And with Todd Graves, he's in the real estate business. He owns about $6 billion in real estate, apparently. And Raising Cane's is worth about $3.7 billion. No, he's in the real estate business. It's incredible. Forbes billionaire list. Elon Musk, of course, number one. He's worth $342 billion. $342 billion. It's 1,000 million, 1,000 million to every billion. Elon Musk worth $342 billion. That's just crazy. And I forget the numbers. The top 2% richest in America control like 85% of the wealth or something like that. Something crazy. Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. Yeah, I think some thin-skinned Louisiana peeps, and I don't know, I shouldn't say shame on media types or folks like me, opinion op-ed folks that saying Governor Landry owes the citizens of Louisiana an apology. But I do kind of think that's sort of selling out. I think it's like, man, I'm worried about my audience, the people that read my column or watch me on TV or listen to me on radio, whatever. Podcasts, whatever. But a lot of folks are like, Governor Landry needs to apologize to the citizens of Louisiana for the comment. We realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that is conditioned for failure. I don't know how anyone argues with that. I'm a proud Louisiana native, New Orleanian. I love New Orleans and Louisiana. But we are conditioned for failure. I've often said it. LSU Law School says it. Look to your left, look to your right. One of those people won't be here in a semester or two. That's what they say, like opening day. Look to your left, look to your right. Someone won't be here, meaning like they lose a third. I say, look to your left, look to your right. If it's a New Orleanian, Louisiana citizen, one of those people might be sort of second rate. It doesn't really want to win. Kind of just comfortable, just sort of cruise control, the feather in Forrest Gump, wherever the wind blows. Not really in the race. You know? Too many of those folks that settle for the Edwin Edwards, Mark Morial types. It's crazy. So no, I agree with Jeff Landry. Forget about Jeff Landry, his ideology, Republican, Democrat. Forget about the 4 amendments that didn't pass, all of that. What he said, I believe, is accurate. We realize how hard positive change can be to implement in a state that's conditioned for failure. What's that, Blue Boy? Thank everybody for checking us out. Thank Miss Peaches for running the controls. And what else? Tomorrow is a wide open Wednesday edition of the program where the audience is the show producer. See you tomorrow at 4. Thank you, Blue Boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.